Today I'm talking about Altars of Madness by Morbid Angel. This album was released on May 12th, 1989 through Combat Records and Eric Records. It's considered to be one of the pioneer death metal debut albums and one that influenced the sound of death metal. It's also held in high regard, and some people argue it's one of the first true death metal albums, along with Possessed, 12 Churches, and Death, Scream, Bloody Gore. So frontman David Vincent even cites Chuck Schuldiner of Death as an influence. Now, although this is their official debut, they recorded a demo album, which was meant to be their debut, but it was released later in 1991, and that album was called Abominations of Desolation. And that was recorded back in 1986, but they didn't like how it sounded, so they didn't release it as their debut. Mostly all these songs have been re-recorded at some point and were released in a different form in subsequent albums. So the original vinyl and cassette pressings did not include one song called Lord of All Fevers and Plague, but it was later included as a bonus track on the CD versions. And the cover art was created by Dan Seagrave, and this was his first death metal album. Before this, he just did thrash metal albums. So I didn't listen to this when it came out back then, but over the years, I've heard a lot of people say good things about it. I've seen people rank their discography. Most people put this high up. Some people put it at number one. Others would put it in the top three. I haven't really heard any negative things about this. So, out of curiosity, if you're a fan of Morbid Angel, how would you rank this? Is it your number one? So let's talk about the album. It's not too long. It's a little over 30 minutes. So the opening track is Immortal Rights. Thing I noticed with this track is that it goes through many changes. The song is very intense. The vocals are in the lower range as opposed to the vocals on the Death albums with Chuck Schuldiner. They were much higher. And the guitar riffs are very big and epic. It's almost like the guitar sounds like something else. And there are other parts of the song that are very fast and heavy. After that, we have the song Suffocation. This one was very fast and heavy. I like the drum beat on this one. I like the groove and the rhythm. And this band, what they do on this album is they change the rhythm a lot, and they add like different transitions, like using an isolated bass guitar. I thought the song was very energetic. Then we have Vision from the Dark Side. This is a really dark song. I think the word dark is good to describe it because it has some elements of black metal in the guitar sound. And I also failed to mention that a lot of these songs are just filled with short bursts of guitar solos. Then we have Maze of Torment, and this is one of the more popular songs. I think I've listened to this one a few times before. Thought it had some elements of thrash as well, and some more of the extreme elements of death metal. It's very heavy. It's filled with blast beats and brutality, and there are also some guitar squeals on this one. Then we have another song, one of the more popular ones called Chapel of Ghouls. This has some elements of thrash and reminds me of Slayer. The song is very dark. It has a very evil feeling to it, and has some dark sounds added to it, and they have a way of making the guitars sound like keyboards. So I don't know if keyboards were used. I don't think they were, but there is a way that they double the guitars and they make them sound like keyboards. Now we have a short song called Bleed for the Devil. This one's quick, it's in your face, it's fast, it's brutal, and also filled with guitar solos. Damnation is another song, has some elements of thrash as well, some guitar squeals. The song also has an old school death metal sound with lots of changes in the rhythm. The penultimate song is called Blasphemy, and this is just some dark and evil death metal. The song is filled with riffs and changes in the rhythms. The last song is called Evil Spells, and this ends the album nicely with some dark and heavy death metal filled with guitar riffs and deep guttural vocals. I like the breakdown in the song where they slow it down a bit, and this section has a lot of groove.
Now for my final thoughts, I think it's good. I think for the time it was very extreme, but to be honest with you, I don't really think it's like the best death metal album ever. I actually like Death's Leprosy much more than this one, but I think it's good for the time. It was influential, but I don't like really hold it in high regard. But I'm also kind of new to this band. I know some people who have spent a lot of time with it and have listened to this and have owned this album like for a long time. So maybe if that was the case for me, I'd probably like it more. But I thought it was good, but I don't think it's anything spectacular. But I don't know. Let me know what you think of Altars of Madness by Morbid Angel. I mean, is it an awesome album? Is it one of your favorites? So let me know, and thanks for watching. Check out this album right here, or check out this video, whatever. I'll see you in the next one.